Hello chemistry students. So this chapter is all about the kinetics and the equilibrium of reactions. So the kinetics is the study of the rates of chemical reactions. So it's talking about how fast or how slow a reaction occurs. Some reactions are very fast, some reactions are very slow, like the rusting of your car. And then we have different rates of reactions, and that's called kinetics. Now, before we go into kinetics, we need to understand the collision theory. The collision theory states that particles must collide in order to react. So in order for a reaction to occur, the reactants need to collide against each other in order to form the products. Now, not only do they need to collide, but they also need to collide in the correct orientation, and they also must collide with enough energy. So this graph, this picture is kind of showing you this. So in this equation, let me get my pen out here, we have carbon monoxide reacting with nitrogen dioxide. Now, in this reaction, this oxygen molecule is going to be transferred over to the carbon molecule. So if they hit hard enough, with enough energy, that is, this bond between the oxygen and the nitrogen is going to break, and then there's going to be a bond that's formed between carbon and oxygen. So when they collide in the correct orientation with enough energy, we get this moment in time in which this oxygen is kind of shared between the carbon and the nitrogen. We call this the activated complex. In this instant, the carbon, or this oxygen, can split off and form a bond between the carbon, and we get the new products. So we have carbon dioxide and nitrogen monoxide. However, up here, now this oxygen needs to react with the carbon. If it hits the oxygen, though, no new bond is going to form. It's unstable for this oxygen to form a bond with this oxygen. It actually needs to form with the carbon. So in this instance, there's incorrect orientation. They're just going to rebound off each other. Over here, it's kind of the same thing. This oxygen from the carbon, it's not going to form a bond with the nitrogen. It would be too unstable for this oxygen to leave this bond and form a new one. So it would just rebound off again. Incorrect orientation. Now we might have an instance where we do have the correct orientation, but they're going to be going so slow that no reaction is actually going to take place. No transfer is going to take place because there's not enough energy to break this bond. So kind of showing this, again, these molecules, if they're going to form, they must collide with enough energy. Otherwise, they will just bounce off each other just like this. Ooh, boom. And it collides off each other. And they also must collide in the correct orientation. So for instance, right there, they don't collide in the correct orientation, they just bounce off each other. However, if they collide with enough energy and in the correct orientation, all of a sudden they're going to form a new bond in which they're going to break the current bond that they had and form a new bond. So we have a reaction. So this is really the collision theory. Again, all it's saying is that they must collide with enough energy and the correct orientation.